Hey, got another episode of Shitbox Garage. This is actually my third time of reshooting this video. The first shoot is still up. I might keep it up. I might take it down. I don't know yet. But reshooting it just because primarily I finally got an answer on the actual intake center line of this cam. It needs to be at 106. I currently have it at 110. I also rechecked my information and everything. I have it currently retarded. In camshaft timing. I actually need it advanced for the purpose I'm trying to do. I had my thought process backwards when I was initially doing this. I need to have the cam advanced, that way the intake valve closes sooner, and so the piston is compressing the air longer, and that will get me more lower end torque. And that is the end goal with this, because it is going in a truck with a 6-speed New Venture 4500 manual transmission. I'm not looking for super fast. I'm not looking for super high-end horsepower. I'm going to have more useful power band with low to mid-range torque and overall power. Hopefully the mic quality is still doing good. I also noticed on my second reshoot, which isn't, it's been deleted, the audio would cut in and out sometimes. So anyway, with that explanation out of the way, we're going to go ahead and get the cam timing kit put on. I have the Clay Smith Camshaft timing kit. That is the degree wheel. And then the kit itself, okay, we're on the wide cam. And the rest of the kit comes with your dial indicator, 3 dummy lifters. Not that bolt, that's my bolt, but that is being used to hold the needle in place to have a pointer on the actual degree wheel. So we will cut the camera and get that set up. Actually, before we start with the cam degree wheel, you're going to have to pull the sprockets off. So you're going to take your 3 bolts off of there, and then you'll need a gear puller. I have found so far that the Harbor Freight Pittsburgh automotive gear puller set's been working just fine. Pulls this crank sprocket off like butter. I opened it upside down at some point. Anyway, you can see you got all your pullers. I'm going to be using these 2 legs. This is a crossbar, jack screw, everything. Even has clamshells for pulling bearings. Let me set that up and we'll show that. Alright, we got the cam sprocket off. I'm going to run through this whole thing in the video. I believe I have the record time. I'm just going to use the old bolt as my thing to push against for the puller to protect my crankshaft threads and everything. Just because I do plan on replacing this bolt with an ARP bolt, as are the studs, my rod cap bolts, studs, main cap studs. Everything that I'm planning to go with is ARP for fasteners on this engine. So take your 2 arms, slide them in. And those will fit behind the gear, more or less. Go. And the jack screw. Did this backwards. I didn't put my little button on there first. I'll wiggle that out a little bit. As a flat button, I believe. Yep, it does have a cone button for if you're using something not super flat to push against. This is actually the farthest I've had this gear on. Because previously I didn't have anything to actually push the sprocket all the way on. So when I was removing it last couple times, it was on all the way. There we go. Got a good seat. I like that. Let me... Oh, this wrench is probably enough. And not a problem. It's coming off. Easy peasy. Just using a little... Okay, it's on frame. Cool. Just a little adjustable wrench. And she's off of there. That's about as far as off as I need to go. And I'm just going to guesstimate this right quick. Because R4 put me at 110. So then 0 would put me at 106, theoretically, which is the stock center line for this cam. I'm going to go... Let's go advance 4 degrees, and then I might have to come back and do this on my own time without recording if my valves and everything don't have the proper valve to piston clearance. I'll find that out later. I don't plan on putting the timing cover on until I have everything together, assembled, and obviously running properly. So then from here, you would have your crankshaft sprocket installer. If you want to be fancy, you get the tool. But from what I was finding, it's $40 to $80 for what is essentially a piece of pipe. So that's what we got. We got a piece of exhaust pipe that I just have laying around. Take that. Hopefully the dogs don't start barking at neighbors. Hey. Take that and mute the mic. That is hopefully giving good audio. There you go. See? Fully seated it on there. Nothing to it. Again, reusing this old bolt. Abusing a little bit because I do plan to replace it. That's about it. So now we will go ahead and get the cam degree wheel put on. To do that, you got to put your cam sprocket on. So we will cut the camera and do that. All right, so now that we have our cam sprocket on, get your dots lined up. We're going to line your timing dot on your cam sprocket up to, in my case, the A4. You line this up to whatever number on the sprocket side that correlates with the crank side on the sprocket. So you can see A4 there. And then if the glare would cooperate from the assembly lube, you can see A4 there is lined up with our timing dot on the cam sprocket. So from here, we can probably put on the actual degree wheel. So there it is, degree wheel's on, pretty loosely right now because we still have to set up our indicator needle to actually have somewhere to point. All right, and here we can see our needle. I'm just using this bolt hole here. You can technically use anything that will reach. This is most convenient for bolts that I had on or in store. Next, you will set up your dial indicator as close to center on your piston as you can. A little bit more difficult with having the head studs started in here. So I definitely recommend doing this and making sure you have all your information and numbers right before putting in your head studs, so you're not like me and trying to work around those. But I'll make it work. It'll work for now. Next, we are going to rotate the engine to make sure that our dial indicator gets set to actual 0. So we can adjust our dial indicator to 0 rather. Yep, so see we went, excuse me, immediately went down. So we are going to bring the engine completely back around here. Just so my bolt doesn't loosen up on me because I haven't impacted it on. Yep. Back up. We've stopped moving there. Rotate the face to 0. Yep, we are going back down. Bump that back up. Perfect. So now, what we do is set our degree wheel to 0, and then go back and forth to make sure we are actually in 0.
Okay, so I was originally going to edit this part out, cut it out or whatever, but upon rewatching the video while trying to make sure it all flows and at least makes halfway sense, I figured I would just go ahead and do a voiceover here, try to explain what's going on. More or less what's going on is as I'm tightening the bolt onto the degree wheel, the impact is actually slightly turning the crank just barely, and you can probably see where the dial indicator needle will actually go down. And so that's basically what I'm fighting in this whole thing, is trying to keep the crankshaft from turning while tightening the bolt up enough to where when I go and rotate it left, counterclockwise, it doesn't loosen up on me and throw everything off while I'm trying to do this whole procedure. So now you can see me with the breaker bar kind of going back and forth and tapping it back up to 0 on the dial indicator and comparing it to 0 on the wheel, and just really trying to get that as close as I possibly can to not be off too far, whether it be half a degree or an entire degree. I shoot for half a degree tolerance, as that's pretty safe to just round up or down to whatever number you're looking for. Seems about here. Yep, taking it back off again. Very slowly tightening it up this time, I believe. Yeah, you can see me looking up and down at both the degree wheel and the dial indicator. So that's about all that's going on there. Is just me being super finicky with it and trying to get as best as I can.
Okay, now that we have our degree wheel set to 0, dial indicator also shows 0, you're going to rotate the engine over until that is down 50 thousandths, and then record the number that is on the degree wheel. Go ahead and do that without cutting. I'm going to have to cut out a good chunk of the video because I accidentally left it recording while I had my mic muted. So anyway, let's bump it down. Overshot it. Pretty good to 50 there. We have about 11.5 degrees. Yes, about 11.5. So now we go back around the other way. Back up to 0 on the dial indicator. 50, and we have about 11. So we're about half a degree tolerance, or half a degree off. That's plenty fine for what we're doing. We get within half a degree of the number we're looking for, it's safe to assume we are at that angle, or at least only 1 degree off. For my application, won't matter too much as long as everything still measures and clears. So from there, we put this back over to 0 degrees, and then set the dial indicator up on the lifter. Alright, there we go. Got the dial indicator set up on the lifter. The kit comes with this dummy push rod. It also comes with dummy lifters. I'm just going to use my lifters I'm actually going to be running, as they're already sitting in there. Might as well use them. They'll work just fine. Same thing to find your lobe center. We are going to rotate the engine until we achieve maximum lobe lift. And for now, we're just going until that needle stops moving up, so that we can zero out the dial indicator, then check that everything's nice and centered. We can move. See, we're going back down. And also check on the actual lifter itself. Okay. Are near there. Go back down because I missed it. Caught up in my dialogue. Looks like about the 74 mark on there is where I need to put my 0. Check, rock it back and forth a little bit. Sure it hits 0 every time and then immediately drops back down. We're good. That back up to 0. And then, same thing. Go down 50 thousandths one way, record your number, go down 50 thousandths the other way, record the number, add them up, divide by 2. And you'll have your intake center line. So going down 50. Right on the money. And we have basically 145 or a little past the line. Again, that half degree difference that we have. So we'll call it 145. Back down the other way. A little bit. Go. And then we have about 62. Let's add those up and divide them, and that'll give us our result. So that gives me 103.5. Again, half degree difference, we'll call it 104. So I am currently 2 degrees advance of what this cam is supposed to run stock. I will leave it there for now. I have other things I want to work on tonight for this engine build. And then once I have all that done, heads on, we'll measure our clearances and see if I can afford another 2 degrees of advancement. But that is how you degree your camshaft. Bit of a, I don't know. I don't have the greatest quality production videos. I am one person and I'm very new to making videos and also building engines. This is the first engine I'm building from the ground up. Not that I'm uneducated, watch plenty of videos, have plenty of research into it, but you know, book work isn't the same as real work. So this is hopefully going to be the proof in the pudding of what I'm capable of and can figure out. Hopefully this helps somebody. And that's about it for today on Shitbox Garage.